I'm here now with the co-creators of the Arabbin with the Hucksters and Vendors of Baltimore, which is a film we just saw at the Black Bear Film Festival, and it was fantastic. It was a movie that these guys have done back in the 70s. They revisited it, they digitized it, and it was really something to see. So here on my right is Michael. Michael, introduce yourself to everybody.
I'm Michael Tiranoff. I made this film in 1976. In the summer of 1976, we did the filming of the film, of Arabbin.
Right, and you did it with your friend Jay.
I'm Jay Kent, and I was enlisted by Mike and two other friends of ours from college, Evergreen State College, just to give them the credit, in Washington State. Mike proposed this project, and when we finally got funded by the National Endowment for the Humanities, very tiny little budget, but enough for us to work for nothing and make this thing, we were joined by two friends, Ron Alpert and Matt Housley.
It shows people whose livelihood was selling fruits and vegetables on a horse-drawn carriage around town to service the neighborhood, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, so what was your attraction to do a story on this, Michael?
Well, my attraction was I saw this. There was a famous photographer in Baltimore called Roland Freeman who did a whole photo essay on the Arabbers, and he talked about how it was vanishing from Baltimore, and I thought that would be a shame if it wasn't documented. And I was doing a lot of film work at the time, actually mostly video work at the time, so I thought it'd be great to do a film about this trade, and maybe it might spur people to figure out a way that it wouldn't vanish.
Right, that it wouldn't vanish.
At the time, they were somewhat embattled. There were certain people who wanted the horses taken off the streets for one reason or another.
It's similar to what went on with Central Park horse and carriages. Other than that was for fun and enjoyment. But there's always controversy with this type of thing because there's traffic, etc.
Exactly, and some people think there's a cruelty to the animals issue involved, which is actually rarely the case. These people love their animals.
And I went to the Indie Collect, a demonstration in New York of restoring films, and I thought, well, this film has really worn, and they're not really using 16mm projectors anymore, and if it'd be great if they could restore it. So I worked with them, and they liked the idea, and I got Jay involved with the writing. He's very good with the writing of it.
So this is really a historic piece. I mean, you've saved a part of history. If you get a chance to see Arabbin with the Hucksters and Vendors of Baltimore, don't miss it. You're going to love it. I'm with Megan Hungs, and she's the co-producer on the restoration of the film.
And so we saw the first color correction. We were like, oh, there's a blue tint to it, right? And I thought, like, oh, that really is Fuji film. People who were raised with Fuji film. There's different colorations in different
colors of light, yes.
Right. And so, and this was the Kodachrome days. This was all shot Kodachrome, Kodacolor, which has more of a warmer yellowy, orangey brown, right? So it was a matter of saying, oh, okay, just realizing how film stock has changed, how what we're familiar with is what we gravitate toward. Right. So it was just really bringing these warm tones in. I wasn't there, but it was a hot day in Baltimore. And so to get that sunlight look, how the sunlight shone off of all of the people, the fruit, the streets, the horse, it was just really, it was an interesting way of really trying to really portray what was actually happening.
Some people just adore martinis. Others love iced tea. In Venice, they all go for Bellinis. but coffee, that's for me. I've tasted every kind of brew at every coffee shop.
As a boy, I was mystified. I became a merchant the day that I was in at Automat.
But this one was the top.
There was all kinds of people, poor people to matrons in furs.
There was nothing. The coffee at the Automat.
Light the silverware, here come the actors.
It was right near the theaters, and the food was so fresh.
From a silver dolphin spout, the coffee poured right out. Not to mention, at the end, a little spurt of cream. There was nothing like the coffee at the Automat.
I love those little windows that opened, and sometimes what you wanted was missing, and you knocked on the window, waved to the person.
You have to understand they had no latte grande, no quizzical baristas in your way.
Life changes, things change, we all get a little older, but the older you get, the more you reflect back on what came in the beginning, the Horn and Hardits and the Automats of the world.
And for just a shiny nickel, your taste buds you could tickle with that wonderful, magnificent, unbelievable, awesome coffee at the Automat.
Use everything I've said. I'm popular, I'm famous. Make me the spearhead of selling this Meshuggah documentary.
I am with Lisa Hurwitz, and she is the director of
The Automat.
Oh my goodness, I love The Automat. It's screening tonight at the Black Bear Film Festival. Tell us what we're going to see tonight, Lisa.
The Automat is a documentary I directed and produced about the legendary Horn and Hardart cafeterias that were first in Philadelphia and then expanded to New York City. And the film features Mel Brooks, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, Carl Reiner, Colin Powell, Howard Schultz, Elliot Gould, and then, of course, the Horn and Hardart family members and employees. And together we piece together this story of the empire that was Horn and Hardart and what happened.
It was an empire, yes. So how long did it take you to get all this together?
Wow. A long time.
I can imagine.
It was a passion project.
Yes.
About 7 years.
7 years, really. Are you old enough to have experienced Horn and Hardart?
I was not, and I didn't have parents or grandparents that told me about it. I just stumbled upon it in a library.
In a library.
Oh.
What was your reaction when you found it in the library?
I got obsessed with it. I wanted to know everything, and then eventually I found out everything.
Wow.
Yeah.
But to even make a film about it, that's a big deal. Now, who were some of your helpers with making this film?
I was really lucky to have a team more experienced than I was.
Okay.
I worked with editors of some of the best documentaries I've ever seen about New York.
Wow.
And then, of course, I worked with Mel Brooks's composer.
Oh my God.
So the person who composed the scores for Mel's last films did the score for the Automat. And then, of course, I worked with Mel Brooks on an original song.
I'm jealous.
I know. I can't even believe it that we were able to do this.
So what has been the reaction when you've been showing this? Because this isn't your first screening, is it?
No, this is not my first screening at all.
Is it your first film?
It is my first film.
This is some first film. I give you credit. This is big.
Yeah. Well, I'm a strategic. I mean, I get it. I'm an artist, but I'm also strategic, and I wanted to make a film that people were going to really enjoy. That was something important to me. Why go through all this and spend
Nobody's
all
going
these
to want to
years?
see it.
Yes, I really wanted to make something for the customers of Horn and Hardart that they were going to really love.
You know, but it's twofold because it brings back my memories and it brings into the story people like you that never experienced it firsthand, right?
I think that it's a really interesting tool to be able to talk about these issues. It's not just a film about a restaurant. These themes that come up in the film are ones that are going to resonate with people of all ages. It's a film about coming to America and about technology becoming a part of our lives, about the importance of spaces for how they can become so important in our lives and they can serve us in ways, and then having access to good, affordable food for everyone, about people of different backgrounds coming together, different races, religion. You could watch this film and feel sad that the Automat is no longer with us, but like you just mentioned, this is part of the cycle of life.
It is. We are at the Black Bear Film Festival in Milford, Pennsylvania, and I am here now with Max Brinson, who is the president of the board, which is a voluntary board. So good to see you this morning.
So great seeing you.
I know. I've been having a wonderful time watching these incredible indie films. Love them.
Yeah.
They're so unique. They go down roads that of topics that you may not think of, or something that you may need help with, and you're like, oh, gee, I didn't know that. So tell everybody, this is the 23rd anniversary, isn't it?
Yes. Right. We've been going since 2000, and so this is the 23rd year.
Okay. And how long are you the president?
I've been president, let's see, this is my third year. And for a number of years, we have run the festival with just a volunteer board, which we still have, just a volunteer board. However, we finally, after 3 years, we've been able to get an executive director, Veronica Coyne, which we're so happy to have, because that really helps with the whole production of, the tying in everything in the festival. We have someone who is completely in charge of that.
I wanted to mention to you, I'm so impressed that there are people that come from all around the country to this film festival. I'm meeting different people every day. So how do you feel about that your film festival is so important that people just know about it and they're just drawn to it?
Yeah, that's one of the most exciting things about being at the festival, is to meet these people from throughout the country. And we've even have people that have come from other countries to attend the festival. They've submitted their work, and then they fly here and want to meet other filmmakers, and that's the great thing about the festival.
How do you think so much gets done here at the Black Bear Film Festival? It happens because we have Veronica Coyne as the executive director. How you doing, Veronica?
I'm a little tired. It's Sunday at the festival, so yeah, it's been months and almost a year of work, and now we're coming to the conclusion, and I'm happy. I'm going to get to sleep.
It's awards day, and Veronica, you've been on the board for quite a while, but now you're the executive director. Tell me, what are some of the jobs that you have to handle?
Well, I'm basically trying to coordinate and handle everything.
Everything.
But I have a lot of great support and help. I have my office manager, Kim Borin. He's amazing. He has been just my right-hand man. And then the rest of the board is just, they're willing to do a lot of the work. We work by committee, and we try to, cover everything. But I'm kind of coordinating with everyone.
That's what it is.
If you only read the books that everyone else is reading, you can only think what everyone else is thinking. We all interpret things uniquely. Life experiences, education, processing capacity, all impacted by the meaning we take from written words. Do you believe we forge our own path? Or are we all just thinking the same things?
I'm with actor Robert McKeon right now, and he was the lead actor in the movie Footnotes, and I really loved your movie.
Thank you, Helen. Thanks
it was
so much.
Good. Now, who wrote that?
Tom Petrovsky, very, very talented young filmmaker based in Brooklyn.
So the story is you're a widower.
Yes.
You're very lonely. You're missing your wife, and
He's stuck in grief.
You're stuck in grief, okay? You're inside and you're lonely.
Exactly. It's good for us to feel grief, but once we get stuck there, then we isolate. And this film is hopefully a little beacon of hope to those who do feel stuck, that there's always a light at the end of the tunnel.
A room without books is like a body without a soul. Now, let me say, that room certainly had a lot of books.
Well, the location we used was phenomenal. It was off of one of the location websites, and it's been used by other film companies. And the owner of the townhouse we used up on 165th Street or something like that, just the whole place, every room was just covered with books. I see creating and acting as a spiritual experience. So my whole creative process has been, I've been acting for decades, nonstop, and side by side with all the studying I've done, all the work I've done, has always been a creative process and a creative path. So I feel that the two are intertwined.
Now for a story that's sure to brighten your day.
You have to be a millionaire these days to raise a child.
Oleski!
So you want to be rich, huh?
More than anything, what do millionaires do?
How do millionaires
dress? You must take out the Doug consciousness out of this physical body, put it in the body of a millionaire, and live that way.
That's what the world needs now.
Do you understand what I'm saying? Tyler, no. I'm a cat food guy.
I mean, how hard can it be to come up with $1 million idea?
No, dude.
I used to be like you, a salesman.
You ever hear of the movie Lucky Doug? Well, you're going to, because it's fantastic, hysterical. I just came out from seeing it at the Black Bear Film Festival, and right now I am with the director, Eric Russo.
Hi there. Thank you for having me.
I loved it. I'm so excited. It was so funny and original. And tell everybody the premise.
Yeah. So the idea is that Doug finds out that he is going to be a father, and he realizes he's not financially ready for it. So he decides he's going to become a millionaire, and yeah, it kind of goes from there, up and down journey of his, well, you'll see.
Well, now how many minutes? This is a feature length, right?
It is feature. It's 82 minutes.
Yeah. I cannot believe you shot this in about 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's right.
I think that's remarkable.
Yeah.
Because you did a lot of filming. You couldn't have done a lot of takes.
We probably did more than we should have. Yeah. Well, because it was, our crew and our cast comes from like an improv background. So we started with, kind of like an improvisation from an outline, and then we grew into a script. And then from there, we were still like a little bit loose when we were on set. So
you want to shout out the names of some of the people involved?
Sure, yeah. So our writing team is Nathaniel Hendricks, Phoebe Raylanu, and Doug Hines. Doug and Phoebe are the two main co-stars. The rest of our other stars. Tyler, so that was Hunter Duncan, very successful Austin comedian. Catherine Hutchins, also an Austin comedian. Yamina Kwan. I'm like Zach DeSutter. Zach DeSutter played Laser Pete Dimebags. Yeah.
Well, I loved it, and everybody, whenever you can.
Yeah.
Where else are we going to be able to see Lucky Doug?
Yeah, so we've got a few more festivals that we're playing over the next couple months, and then hopefully right around the start of the year, it'll be available. I don't know about streaming, but definitely VOD.
I've been broken, I've been bruised, I've been lied to and been used. You can't take away my pride.
When I was roofing, I fell 25 feet.
Landed on my chest on the ground because the house I was on top of collapsed. I didn't have insurance at the time. I had no health insurance. I just couldn't afford it. So I was like, you know what? I'm not going to the hospital. I just limped for 2-3 months.
Because of a DWI, I lost my medical license, and I work 20 hours a week as an escort.
If I ever get in trouble again in life, just send me upstate. They have like a big yard, they have a bingo, it's a nicer facility, food's good, ice cream, soda, all that. Can't get all that in the county.
A lot of the people that I was in rehab with were, ex-convicts, people straight from jail. It felt like a fever dream.
I would make pizzas, wash dishes. I was very unhappy, mainly because my wife was my supervisor.
Well, at that time, I was working for any temp jobs, warehouse work, distribution centers. My co-workers who I worked for did not know I was homeless.
I went to college. I learned a lot about the radio industry and how there's absolutely no money to be made. So I started working with a plumber.
I have 6 kids and 1 on the way. I love to work, not sit on my butt.
Occasionally one would break, but for the most part, you receive them at the airport, you take them and you thank them profusely, give them a couple $100, and then you have your bourbon.
I fell off the ladder at work, so there went my career, sort of.
I sold cars. I was actually top sales agent. The guys loved to come in and ask for Rosa. The girls, if they came in with their guys, they didn't like me. They were like, no, let's go somewhere else.
Politics isn't it's not my game. You can influence more people through clothes in a way, because more people wait in line for shoes than they do sometimes for voting polls.
I worked at a bodega, sandwich place, security, babysitting and whatnot, walking dogs, a little bit of everything. Just a little, anything that make a buck.
And I delivered a calf once too.
This is the film that we just viewed. We'll be receiving the first ever Regional Spotlight Award, and that is Broken. So, now non-film can come back up. Take your time and imagine there's a big orchestra playing. Let me find the award. Here it is. Congratulations. There's only one. Sorry. Yeah, of course.
I want to thank everyone. I want to thank Tamara. Tamara, you here? Yeah. Because Tamara said, well, why don't you stay for the awards? Like, oh, there are awards? I'm like, oh, okay. So thank you.
I'm with the co-directors of Broken, and you are?
I'm Michael Schulp. And I'm Alan Youngkin.
And the premise of the movie was about people in Allentown and from various walks of life, and how the economy and their lifestyle is affected by not having money or not having a job, or by the increase in inflation, et cetera, right? Is that it in a nutshell?
Yeah.
So tell our audience how you went about picking the people that were in this, because it was a little different than you would usually experience.
Well, we didn't cast it. In other words, we just went out and we found people. We met some in supermarkets and in just literally the guy painting the house next door to us. And we said, we're doing this documentary about economic struggles in Allentown. Would you allow us to interview you? And they said yes. And then after we found 12 people and interviewed those 12, we stopped. So we didn't cast. Normally in a documentary like this, because I've worked in the television business for decades, normally you'd interview or at least you'd audition, as it were, 20, 30 people and then find the most photogenic, the most kind of chatty, the most articulate. But we and there's an authenticity as a result of having done it the way we did it. Yeah. We ended up in Allentown and we love it. And I think the documentary is much better than it would have been had it been shot in New York.
So, well, congratulations on your win. Let's show the trophy.
Yay!
Congratulations to you. Well deserved. And I'm so glad that I got to see Broken. I'm with Matthew Bechtold, who's the program director of the Black Bear Film Festival. What a wonderful festival this is.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I mean, it's a lot of work, but amazing, and I enjoy the experience. Absolutely.
Yeah. How many entries did you have this year?
This year we had 251.
Okay. Is that more than usual, or?
It was more than I did last year. Last year we had about 126, so it did go up. And you know, they're not all feature length. A lot of them are shorts, 5 to 10 minutes long. But yeah, so we had a lot more this year than we did last year. Almost double. Yeah.
Yeah. And now, are you on the committee that helps look at the films and decide what makes it?
I am the curator, so I'm the one that decides what makes the final cut. And we have a programming committee who also watches the films, and we discuss, and they give their opinions, and I put that into account as I make my final decisions for it. Yeah.
So how many actually made it in?
So out of the 251, we had 44 this year. Yeah, between the salon and the main stage.
Do you have any advice for future filmmakers or present filmmakers?
Well, first of all, just keep working at it. Never give up. Like when you saw the award ceremony, we want to inspire young filmmakers to keep working and just, you know, make the most truthful, honest work you can make. And just, you know, just don't give up. It's a hard thing to do in the arts, but just keep at it.